So, first, they're always going to try to distract. They're always going to try to put up a more emotional wedge issue instead of talking about what everybody's concerned about, the economy, jobs, taxes. A good example of this, if you saw a movie a few months ago, maybe a year ago, Game Change, about the 2008 election with Sarah Palin. It was on HBO. Julianne Moore played Sarah Palin. And what they realized was portrayed in this movie was that she didn't necessarily have to know all the responses in a debate against Joe Biden. All she had to do was fill up 90 minutes. So memorize a 90-minute script. And we've got the media against us in the general discussion of things. So when they have a 90-minute block, if they're talking about what they want to talk about, it means we're not talking about what we want to talk about. Again, so we have to win the argument. So what do you do about issues like taxes? So taxes, we hear about the balanced approach. Candidates over here, they're going to get a lot of questions about the balanced approach. Okay, well, we got a lot of balance on January 1st. Taxes went up. It seems to me that when the Democrats talk about a balanced approach, when the media talks about a balanced approach, all of a sudden they forget about the taxes they just raised a few months ago and they want more balance, which is never cut spending and raise more taxes. Point that out. Point that out. Because that's where we're going to win the argument. These are progressives. They are who they are in the definition of their name. They're constantly progressing towards bigger government. Incremental steps. They raise taxes on January 1. Well, we need more balance. We can't cut spending yet. We need a little bit more balance. It's absurd. So, I'm sure a lot of you maybe are a little bit wonkish like me, debating Keynesian economics and how government spending doesn't work. I don't want to give the campaign speech about how it doesn't work, because it doesn't. I'd rather talk about some examples that did work, that resonated well on my campaign, but you can do in conversation with your friends, with your family at Thanksgiving. We've got some great examples of why we don't need more investment. That's the new word for spending. Investment from the government. Back just a few years after the Civil War, a lot of immigrants were pouring into New York City. They were pouring into the borough of Brooklyn and working in Manhattan. And they were taking ferry boats back and forth. So year after year, pretty soon, the ferry boat traffic was so thick on the East River that they just decided we needed to build a bridge. Now there's an important lesson there. Because they didn't wake up one morning and decide, we need jobs, let's go build a bridge. There was an economic need to build the bridge, and they built it. Now, if President Obama was president back then, he'd probably lament the fact that all the ferry boat operators lost their jobs. But this is what we have to get across to people who aren't really paying attention. When you hear about, well, yeah, okay, we build a bridge, people go to work, there's construction, it's a good thing. But really, if there's no economic need to build the bridge, then you shouldn't build it. I'm getting the clock here, so I'll wrap it up. There's lots of ways we can win the argument, but you've got to be very good at it. As Republicans, you've got to be better. You've got to be better than they are. And we're going to get better at it. We will. We have to. We have to. Because what's going to happen over the next few years is the cream's going to rise to the top, and we're going to find the best candidates that can deliver the message effectively and can get the job done. So, you're in this for life, folks. I mean, you can change parties and you can become a Democrat if you want to, but if you really believe in what you believe, you're in this for life and you're going to keep fighting for it. The left, the progressives, they're never going to stop. They're never going to stop. There's always going to be a reason they want to expand a new program or create a new bureaucracy. And we have to be there as defenders of the Constitution, as Republicans who believe in individual sovereignty and individual responsibility. They're like the Terminator. They will not stop. Unfortunately, they're terminating our country, so we've got to raise our game. We've got to practice what we preach. And I'll leave you with this, what I used to say at the end of my campaign speeches. We do not need to fundamentally transform America. We need to return America to the fundamentals that transform the world. So God bless you all for being here today. God bless the United States of America. Thank you. Okay, I guess we don't have time for questions, right? The candidates are pretty busy, so.